Well, I know this seems pretty mad, but what I actually want to do is to respond to a video of Stephen Fry that's been doing the rounds on Facebook. Saw it again recently. It's been posted by someone or a group called Skepticus, spelt with a K. I'll put their profile photo on the screen hopefully now, so you can check it out for yourself. The video of Stephen Fry was posted on August 19th. So you can watch that for yourself and see what I'm trying to respond to. Pretty mad, I know, because he's got an internationally recognisable face, and I obviously haven't. But I just wanted to get a response out there, and I haven't seen any, so here goes. I'll keep it brief. I think that the first point I'd like to make is that there is a little bit of common ground between Christians, I'm speaking from a Christian point of view specifically, and what Stephen says in that video. He talks about all the horrendous things in the world, and of course he's absolutely right. The example he gives is of insects burrowing into children's eyes and eating their way out of the eye. Bone cancer in children he also mentions. And I think that the place to start is to say, Stephen, we totally agree with you as Christians. We totally agree that these things are horrific and too awful for words. And there are many things in this world that are just too awful for words. And we share, Stephen, your sense of disgust and being repelled and lost for words by these awful things. So there's a little bit of common ground there in that sense. But of course, Stephen's next move is to attribute this awful world, all these awful things, to God, and to say, why did God create the world like this? In fact, he links the idea of creation very firmly with these awful things. 4 times I counted, he used a word related to creation. Creation once, creates twice, and created once. 4 times in all I counted in that little clip. So he wants to blame the way God created the world for these awful things. And the point I want to make is very simple. It is that that is a misunderstanding of the Christian position. Now, admittedly, Stephen doesn't mention Christianity specifically, but I guess that's in our cultural background in the UK at least, that is our sort of dominant religious heritage at the present time at least. And to attribute this awful world, all the terrible things that happen, to the way God created it is not the Christian position. The Christian position is, when God created the world, it was perfect, it was very good. God did not create the world as it currently is. The Christian position is there was a very good creation, a perfect creation, followed by what we call the fall, when human beings first became sinners, and we're all sinners according to the Christian position. You may not agree with it, but I'm just describing and explaining what the Christian position is. That when we human beings became sinners, then the world was messed up, and all the evils we see today flow from that. So that there is it would seem, a misunderstanding there, but I think it is a very widespread misunderstanding, and that's why I wanted to put the record straight on that subject. I want to keep this brief, so I'll just say one more thing at this point. Possibly I'll post future videos, but we'll see. Just one more thing to say, and that is that Stephen, and I'm not talking to him directly, but if I could, I'd say this. I'd say, Stephen, you haven't given us, at least in that short clip, and there may have been more that isn't on that clip, but on that clip at least, you haven't given us a single reason not to believe in God. What you have given us are reasons which, in your view, make God's behaviour unacceptable. Now, that is something, obviously, that can be discussed and debated. But you haven't given us a single reason not to believe that God is there. What you've given us are reasons to hate God. reasons to regard God as beyond the pale and unacceptable to us. But that isn't really the question, is it? The question is not whether God is acceptable to you or to me or to anyone else. The question is, what is really there? Not whether we find it acceptable, but what the truth is about God's existence and God's nature and so on. So that's the only other point I want to make for now. We'll see what happens with this. Thank you for watching.